afternoon, everyone. Before starting this presentation, let me thank the organizers, Professor Hussein Qasraz, Mr. Nuruddin, and thank them for their invitation. Also, thank you to the guest speakers who have shared with us their rational ideas and deep insights. Thank you to professors and the guest speakers for sharing their insights with us today. Thank you to all attendees, to professors, to university students, to teachers as well, colleagues, and to the organizing team or those participants who are helping in organizing this event. For those who don't know me, I am Ahmed Melissa. I am a teacher of English, and also I am a member of several or some research teams and associations, not only in Morocco but also outside Morocco. Today, or in this presentation, I will give a structured analysis of innovative listening pedagogy within the Moroccan curriculum, the new curriculum, mainly the curriculum that is used in middle school. But I think it will be used in high school starting from next year. This presentation introduces, starts by a research problem or objectives. Then I will talk about the framework that I used to analyze the content of the new curriculum. Then to do this, I use a triangulation or triangulated qualitative approach. I will share with you the findings that I organized into four main titles: curriculum embedded innovations, perceptions, and adaptations. Also, I will introduce the results of the classroom observation practices, alignment with theory, and also I will share with you the interpretations in which I will explain this difference between practice and theory in this new curriculum. And I will also share some recommendations that are related to teachers' practices and training, and also to elite or teachers' communities. So, Morocco's English education reform aims to foster confident communication among learners with listening as a core skill. Yet, classroom practices often resort to passive, focused listening. This study, because it is an article project, this study therefore critically analyzes the innovation or the innovative listening strategies in the new Spotlight curriculum, examining not just their design, but their real-world application and effectiveness. By bridging the gap between policy and practice, the research empowers not only students, but also teachers to transform listening into a dynamic part of language learning. To analyze this new curriculum, I employed a multi-layered theoretical framework. I view listening not as a passive skill, but through active listening theory, as an active, constructive process. This is placed within an integrated skills approach, ensuring listening connects directly to speaking and writing. Actively or activities design is guided by the task-based approach that my professors have introduced before, where every listening task has a clear communicative purpose. Teachers are training their students in listening by whenever they assign a task, they ask their students to listen and do something else. So they should do an activity. That's not only listening. So, and inclusively is ensured through the universal design of learning, which promotes multiple modes of engagement. The goal of this study is to analyze how innovative listening teaching methods are both designed in Morocco new English curriculum and put into action in real classrooms. To do this, I asked 4 questions. What is in the curriculum? What do teachers think and do? And what actually happens? And during our listen. And how does all of these line up with teaching theory? And then answering these questions helps us understand the real journey from a great idea into in our textbook to what students actually learn. For the methodology, this study uses a multi-method qualitative approach to build a complete picture of how listening is taught. I didn't just look at the textbook or the curriculum, but I triangulated data by analyzing official curriculum documents, studying online discussions among teachers, because I am a member of several teachers' communities, and observing actual classrooms. I did some observation of some teaching practices. This 3-part method lets me compare the official plan, what teachers say they do, and what actually happens within students, revealing the false story. The English Spotlight, for example, 3 curriculum embeds several key innovations. It contains a lot of innovative ideas to transform listening from passive into active skill. It frames every task with a clear purpose. For example, listen and check guides students from guest reading for general or listening for general idea to detail to personal resources. Response. You ask students to personalize how based on your experience or how could you use what you listen to in your personal life. It uses pictures to activate prior knowledge and introduce beer, for example, beer, drop everything and read, with audios to blend listening with reading for pleasure. Crucially, it provides teachers with ready-to-use differentiation strategies, such as pausing. Teachers can post audios for support or ask advanced learners to retell the story from memory. When the students listen to a story, by the end of the lesson, you may ask your students to retell the story by themselves. Yes, they can use their own words as well. These interconnected features create a rich, informed, student-centered blueprint for making listening comprehensible, engaging, and communicative. When I asked how these curriculum innovations are enacted by teachers, I found a compelling story of mediation. Teachers are not just implementers or are not just teaching the language, but they are mediators. Teachers are not passive implementers, but active interpreters. They deeply appreciate the curriculum. They appreciate the curriculum's ready-made tasks and support, seeing them as lifesavers for planning, because teachers are using this new curriculum's ideas to plan their listening. Yet, they face systematic barriers, those barriers that have been introduced before by our professors and teachers and experienced teachers as well. For example, large classes, limited time, and unreliable audio equipment. Because some teachers noticed that these audios that were given to the teachers are generated or were generated by artificial intelligence, where you cannot feel that these activities are presenting authentic language. Authentic language means that you listen to the language within chaos, in a soup, in a classroom, in the market. You need to hear the setting. Yet, in response, they improvise, teachers improvise and create some audios themselves. So they are mediating knowledge. They may change, they may delete some parts of the audios, because the teacher is the one who knows his students. No one can tell you how to teach your students, because they don't know the type of students and the needs that your students are need to fulfill. Some teachers improvise creatively and use gestures, strategic L1, and structured pair checking to make lessons work. My classroom observation revealed a core tension while I saw teachers successfully using interactive strategies like pair share to boost participation. Two crucial gaps undermined the communication or the communicative goal. First, teacher overcorrected pronunciation. When a student is talking and you stop him or her during a listening or a post-listening activity, you are moving from fluency to accuracy. So let students make mistakes, as our professor said. Mistakes are part of learning. When the student makes a mistake, so that's learning is taking place. Or during listen and repeat as well. Prioritizing accuracy over fluency and creating anxiety, those are gaps that you can notice while teachers trying to implement what they got from theory. Second, and the most importantly, the final personal response, or the post phase, where students connect the listening to their own lives, was frequently skipped. Why? Due to time pressure. This shortens the learning cycle. Learning, yes? Time. Yes. مازال عندي شي حاجه للاساتذه غندوزو الا كانت سهلات ندوزوهم ماشي اشكال. There is an example for teachers who want something that is practical to do in their classrooms, because I was told that I should share with you some strategies for or innovative strategies to teach listening. For example, this do now. Teachers may use such strategy to create a routine. One of these routines within the classroom is the do now. For example, to activate prior knowledge and set personal low stakes context, or to lower affective filters, a teacher may use this prediction. Before providing students with a listening or within the audio, you may ask them to look at the picture and the title and predict or guess what will be the text about. You may use this scaffolding, visual scaffolding, in which you provide students with icons or pictures, for example, a cake, a dress, a gift, and so on, and you tell your students in 1 minute, draw a quick sketch in your notebook that answers what do these make you think of. It is also prediction. Another activity is a minute interview, in which you may ask your students to turn to the person, maybe behind them, as my teacher said, or nearby. Ask what was the last party or celebration you enjoyed. You have 1 minute to answer. So this do now could be done between 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Next one is pre-listening stage. In the pre-listening stage, you may try to build the necessary vocabulary, context, and purpose for listening. For example, you may provide students with pictures. Here we provide students with a gift, a soap, and a girl. And you may ask your students, with your partner, name, it shows, yes, name 5 things you see in the picture, or elicit and board K nouns verbs. For example, choose. The students may share with you ideas as choose, buy, gift, cake, because they say it. And the second picture, the second step is prediction. Based on these pictures, what do you think conversation will be about? What the problem might the person have? During the pre-listening, students wouldn't hear the audios. They just predict and build this vocabulary knowledge. During the while listening, objectives, for example, listen with differentiation or with differentiated, clear purpose. Tired listening task. Here we try to use this differentiation and also scaffolding. The first listening, you ask your students to listen just for the general idea. You don't ask them to write, just for the main idea, maybe, or what is the problem in this, or check your predictions. For the second listening, provide a worksheet with 3 multiple choices. This is for those lower achievers. For those that have an advanced level, you may ask them to provide them with a worksheet to listen for 2 suggestions and give, and ask them, are they good or not? For those who have a high level, you might ask them to provide you with a certain dialogue, or where they provide suggestions that are related to celebrations. Let's move to the post-listening. Personalize the content and move from comprehension to communication. You can ask your students to link or to connect what they heard in the audios to their life. Tell us about a celebration that you like. You can provide, to help those slow achievers, provide students with sentence starters. For example, I like celebrating, okay, blanks, and let them complete the sentence. This is an example. You can provide several sentence starters. Also, you can provide your students with dialogue frames in which you provide a dialogue and you provide them with blanks that students should complete and can be also within the post-listening. The last stage is the exit ticket, in which also you can help your students. This is an activity, it's an example. I just tried to share with you some examples. Unfortunately, I couldn't share with you all ideas that were in the presentation, because within the curriculum there are really very interesting and amazing activities that we don't know. And I tried to work on this article not only to present here, but because I want to understand the new curriculum. This 3-2-1 reflection, you may ask your students to write on a slip of paper or on their notebook 3 new words, phrases they learned during that lesson, 2 things they understood from the lesson, and a question that they still have. Thank you for listening to this presentation. Thank you.